Hello everyone, the Lone Wolf here, and today I'm going to cover a few dev blogs, but since I'm in Nibale for my research jobs, which my last research job that I just installed only had 9 days waiting time, which is pretty good. And yeah, I thought I'd go here in this ice belt, because it's going to be one of the last times that we'll be able to mine ice in this old fashion, in these inexhaustible static belts. All of this is going into special anomalies, and which will be exhausted quite quickly, and there might be quite a bit of competition for these ice anomalies once they come out with EVE Online Odyssey, because the supply coming from HiSec won't be able to sustain all the bosses in New Eden. So there will have to be either some competition or some more risky ice mining that will have to be done by the players in order to keep everyone's bosses running. It's going to be pretty interesting, I think. Anyway, let's have a quick look at the latest dev blogs. So let's go for the dev blogs. And I thought I'd start with hacking in Odyssey, which is a dev blog on the new hacking mechanic, which will come out with the expansion. Yeah, it's part of the exploration update, and we'll have, you can see here a nice picture of it, like a mini game. This does remind me a little bit of Deus Ex, and maybe Mass Effect as well, some hacking mini games. It's pretty interesting. I'm pretty sure that if you've played any of these hacking mini games in any other game, you're already pretty well aware of how all of this works. You enter the system at some point. Your goal is to disable all the nodes, but you can encounter some nasty surprises from time to time. The main question I have concerning the system is how long is it going to remain entertaining. I do know that I can get pretty bored myself with unlocking doors through a system like that. But you also have to keep in mind you'll have to do this a few times in some of the sites, and after that you're back to maybe some combat sites or some probing at least. So it's not really only this. But yeah, I am a bit worried about how long it'll be able to entertain people. A nice aspect that I like about it is the idea that whenever you come across like a security node or something like that, and you can actually trigger a spawn in the site. I think that's potentially pretty interesting. So you'll have, there you go, if you want, I'll put a link down below. You'll be able to check the full dev blog. There are like defensive subsystems, utility subsystems, data caches and cores. Now the system will actually be pretty deep as well. Your skills and your modules that are fitted on your ship will be able to improve how well you can hack some of the systems, completely randomly generated as well, so you never know what you're gonna get. But yeah, once again, my one worry about this is longevity. How long is this going to entertain people? On the other hand, what I really like about it is the future, which is right here, the last part. Because it's made in such a way that it could be implemented in a lot of different systems as well. This does have a lot of potential for some very interesting gameplay. A lot of the people in the comments thread were talking about the potential for hacking offline bosses in order to get to the loot, so you don't have to actually destroy them anymore. And things like that, you know, there's quite a lot of fun possibilities with stuff that you could hack. Not so much PvE wise, but I think especially PvP wise, people could be pretty interested in a sandbox element like that, adding some risk to just having some stuff hanging around in space. You know, you never know when a ship can be hacked. It might also be a part of like stealing someone's ship and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like the idea of hacking bosses and hacking other people's maybe PI stuff and all of that stuff. I do have a little bit of worry about the longevity of such a mini game, but luckily a lot of the exploration is being geared towards a more of group play. So I'm also pretty sure that you'll be able to like alternate between people, so that you don't always have to be the one to do the hacking if you don't really enjoy the mini game. Let's go back to the dev blogs then and have a look at the next one: Planetary Conquest, Corp quitting, timers and more. So let's have a quick check here that nothing bad is happening. Nope, doesn't look like it. This is pretty much a Dust 514 update, which is also a little bit linked to a role-playing article that was posted on the community website, where the Tucker tribe has given control of districts on temperate planets in Malden Heath to Dust 514 soldiers. The corporations and alliances that end up owning these districts, which from what I read in Reddit was done in like 20 minutes after it was deployed, have a decrease in manufacturing time at POSes, 10% per district owned up to 40%, and a decrease in POS fuel usage, which I think is pretty damn good and pretty powerful. I definitely like this. It's obviously a test, a limited test only in Malden Heath to see how balanced it is. But I do think it could become a hotbed for from some PvP activity and for the live events as well, because the role-playing articles are going in that direction. This will also mean some changes to the faction warfare mechanics, and it's linked to Dust. If I read this correctly, basically the combat zones in Dust 514 will no longer be randomly generated, but will be dependent on activities in the faction warfare systems. So for instance, if Minmatar faction warfare corporations are doing sites in a certain system, this will spawn combat on these planets for Dust 514 soldiers in order to help the Minmatar fight off the Amarr, for instance. But conversely, if the Minmatar are doing a lot of sites in their own system, this won't trigger new combat because it just doesn't make sense. It would need to trigger Amarr against Minmatar when there's really no activity of Amarr in EVE going on in the system at the moment. It seems pretty clever, and it does make a lot of sense to me. So that's very positive, I think, for the guys that are heavily invested in the Dust 514 and EVE Online link. And finally, the quitting of corporations. You'll no longer need to wait 24 hours to leave a corporation. It seems that this was just old legacy that was limiting this when they first introduced it, but they can do away with it, so they will. Do keep in mind that it'll still be 24 hours to drop all your roles, and that you still need to be docked in order to leave a corporation. So kicking someone out who is in space, that's still a bit of a threat to keep in mind as well. Next up, I don't really have a link for that on hand, so I'll just talk about it a little bit because I do want to cover it. There's also a new chronicle. I'll try and find the link and put it below as well. This one was about Amarr. Basically, it was a political meeting between Jamil Sarum and the other heirs of the Amarr Empire. So really the political big shots there. She's having quite a lot of trouble maintaining her composure with the other this AI entity that's inside her that keeps trying to take over and that keeps annoying her. Basically, the lines between her identity and its identity are starting to blur. And it's quite troublesome. The meeting was what I think was pretty interesting. Basically about the Generation 1 Dust 514 soldiers, that the entire purge by Heth was really just to get rid of them and only the Generation 1s. Jamil Sarum and the Amarr Empire should have some plans in the works to also get rid of these Generation 1 Dust bunnies in the Minmatar and the Galente sovereignty spaces. So it's going to be interesting to see if this will become live events and if we'll be able to watch their plan unfold and the continued destruction and prosecution of these Generation 1 Dust clones, which by all accounts are basically going a bit crazy from the sleeper implants. What I liked about it is that at the end, it was written a bit like Jamil Sarum said, that she was expecting A number of them have already escaped and will inevitably escape their attempt at purging them. So she was going to try and gather them and give them a home and then go in hiding, which was related to the title. Now, personally, I think this is the Other speaking, which I think is a pretty cool concept. If the Other is actually going after these Generation 1 soldiers because they have sleeper tech inside of them, and that he could like gather them in like a secret planet somewhere in wormhole space, and it could basically become like a bad guy in the Eve lore, Eve universe as well, with a personal army of his own. This is completely speculation on my part, but that's how I read the final sentence of the Chronicle. I thought it was pretty interesting as well. You got some nice views of the political landscape at a very high level in Amar. So I thought it was pretty nice. And then to end up, you might have seen it while I was clicking away, there's a new devblog that's been released just today, and Alliance Tournament 11 is going to come with a call for commentators. It will be kicking off on July 20th, 2013. There will be no, let me quickly see, no qualifying rounds this time, so they'll just go with a double elimination bracket from the start. Tournament will last 3 weeks, with the 2 final weeks being hosted basically at the CCP headquarters with some extra commentators which they'll select from people that want to apply. Not sure, I might just apply for fun. Don't really expect that I have enough PvP experience for that, but if Johnny Pugh is listening, I think maybe he should put in his application with his increased activity in faction warfare. He might just have the right profile to do some commentating on that. Of course, if he has the opportunity to do that during these weeks, that is. But if there's anyone I'd like to see there in the commentator booth, it's definitely Johnny Pugh, because I still don't know what he looks like. Anyways, there you go, guys. Quick update on the latest dev blogs and the latest Chronicle. Hopefully we'll see some more live events action soon, although I am in Ibale right now, so preferably not today. Yeah, I think I'll just end the cycle with just a few more ice blocks. But for now, I'll see you guys next time.